I bet you want to know who's on the radio. Let's talk about it. I tell you what, you won't find a tandem better than these two. Let's talk about it. You ready for this? See, you didn't just stumble upon some random show. Nah, this here is destiny. Jeffery, Renee.
It's almost showtime, people.
Let's talk about it. Live with Jeffery and Renee. Watching is the best decision you'll ever make. Saturday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Only on www.statusnetwork.net. Call or text in live 470-251-4647. Hashtag Let's Talk with Jeffery and Renee.
You know what time it is.
And here are your hosts, Jeffery and Renee.
What is going on, Facebook family? What's going on, Instagram family? It's time for Let's Talk About It Live with Jeffery and Renee. Every Saturday right here on Manifest TV, powered by the Status Network. This is exactly how we do it. We got some smoke for y'all today. I hope that you have your smoke mask on and your smoke detectors deactivated, because this is going to be a hot show. But before we get into that, Renee, how was your week?
Very well. How was yours?
It was pretty doggone good. I ain't even gonna lie. My foot hurt though. I've been trying to work out a little bit, get back in the gym. I got these little bitty skinny calves.
Okay.
I'm trying to do some leg presses.
Gotcha.
To get them calves up, them calf presses, and my toe hurt. Y'all didn't tell me all this was gonna happen when I tried to get big calves. The phone number is 470-251-4647. If you want to call in and comment about today's topics, we're going to get into it today. Before we really get into the smoke, though, there's one tradition we have on this show where we spotlight our HBCUs, our historically black colleges and universities, by spotlighting their bands. This week will be no different, and we have prayer review up for you. Now, this is during the fifth quarter. I believe they were going up against, it might have been Grambling, I'm not sure. But this is a stand tune, and they actually put a little funk in it. We're going to play this little bit of HBCU love, spotlighting prayer review. Go ahead and roll that clip for me. Boy, did they bring that funk or what? Renee, did it give you chills? It gave me chills.
Yeah, they did that.
Did you hear when they brought that funk? They brought it from all the way back down the street. It was like, wow, I love it. That is prayer review. And they did the damn thing. All right, y'all. Now listen, I got a real simple question. Renee, I'm just going to ask you just like this. Do you think black people are jealous of white people?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Why do you say absolutely not?
Why would we be jealous? Now, do we feel like they have privileges that we don't have? Absolutely, but that don't mean we're jealous of them.
What does it mean?
We just want equal. Want to be treated equal, fairly.
We want to be treated equally and fairly. Okay, all right.
Definitely not jealous.
Okay, that's a fair point. I'm going to take the position that we are jealous. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, 470-251-4647. I'm going to state this just to make the argument. I'm stating it. If you got questions, or you disagree, or you got something else to contribute, 470-251-4647. Here we go. I believe that there is a part of our community that is jealous of white people. Here is what I'm basing it on. Economically, when we had all of our own stuff, our own banks, hospitals, and businesses in our own communities, what did we want to do? We wanted to leave our communities to go in, or to be able to have access to their communities. We were self-sufficient. Why did we want to go over there? You don't think we were jealous then?
No.
What do you think it was?
I think that there's still the opportunities would be different. Even if we have our own communities, let's just go put this in perspective.
Okay.
Having our own communities, our own banks, all of that.
Hospitals? Clinics?
We still gonna go to their side because we are gonna feel like they're getting something we're not getting in our own.
Okay.
And another thing is we have a habit of not supporting one another and going that way anyway, just because.
But that's new.
What's new?
Not supporting us.
No, that's not new.
That's very new.
No, it's not.
That's our generation stuff.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Here's why I say
Okay,
it is.
go ahead.
Okay. Remember, before integration, our dollars stayed in the community. It turned over and turned over and turned over in the community. Now, the dollar stays in our community for what? Like, I think it's 7 minutes? Maybe an hour before it leaves the community? So we haven't always not supported each other monetarily. That's a new thing. That, quite frankly, that is a post-integration thing.
You think so?
You heard that bell, right?
I'm going to disagree because
Okay.
I think that from the beginning of time, we've been manipulated mentally to not support one another. So, of course, I hear you saying the dollar stay in our community, but what percentage of the dollar goes out of our community?
Most of the dollars.
That's my point.
Okay, but that's a new phenomenon. That's what I'm saying. We haven't always been that way. Let's look at it like this. How is it then that the dollar turns over in everybody else's community longer than our community?
Because we're contributing to everybody else's community.
Absolutely, but why do you think that is?
Because we feel like there's something on that side that's not on our side.
That sounds like jealousy.
Not necessarily. I
Okay.
don't think jealousy is like the terminology I was going to use is envy. So it could, yeah, but I don't think it's that we're jealous of white people.
Okay, I understand.
Okay, so let's say this.
Okay.
Let me ask you a question.
I'm ready.
Is our community at the same level as their community?
No.
Okay, so why wouldn't we want better?
Okay, that is a fair point. Who doesn't want to be able to go down the street and walk safely? Everybody wants safety. Who wouldn't want to be able to walk down the street and get good quality food? Everybody wants good quality, healthy food. Who doesn't want parks? Everybody wants that. I ain't talking about that. That's a hell of a point, though.
Okay, well, what are you talking
I mean the intrinsic value we place on ourselves.
Gotcha.
We don't look at ourselves like we deserve it. And we do. And usually when someone doesn't look at what they have and truly value what they have and who they are, they tend to be jealous or envious
Right.
of others. So I will submit to you respectfully that maybe black people are jealous of white people. Oh, that boy be made. Hey, I can make some arguments now. I can make some arguments. Now, let's keep it in perspective, ladies and gentlemen. Let's keep it in perspective. Do I believe that they are better than us? I'm going to ask you, do you think white people are better than us?
Absolutely not.
Why not?
We're
I'm
just
asking.
as educated.
True.
We work just like them.
Yep.
And you got it. No matter what you make the comparison of, it's we got some, you got some. You got some rapists, we got some rapists. You got some thieves, we got some thieves. You got some educators, we got educators. I don't think they're better than us in no form or fashion. I think that we've endured a lot more than them to make us stronger built than they are. So no, I don't think they're better than us. I think they just have more privileges and opportunities than we do.
Okay.
Let me get this bell for a second.
I'll let you ring the bell. Okay, fair point. Let me this bell back over here and watch this smoke. Okay, so I used to live in Sandy Springs. Sandy Springs is a pretty affluent area of Atlanta. The place that I lived in, there was a Rolls-Royce dealership up the street from. They don't put Rolls-Royce dealerships in low-income areas.
No.
Not to disparage, it just is what it is. Okay, where I live now, I live in Snellville. Snellville is still a really, really nice area. The amount of property that I could have gotten in Sandy Springs for what I got in Snellville is night and day.
Of course.
You know, my house is like night and day. It's crazy. Okay, that's why I went back to Snellville. But here is the thing that I'm getting at. Why is it that places like Sandy Springs and places like Snellville can accumulate so much wealth and attract the types of businesses based on the income there that many people would find desirable, and it couldn't be done in the West End, as an example, before they started gentrifying the West End? Why is that? What do you think?
You said it.
What is it?
Okay, it's not on the same economic level.
Why not?
Well, let's just start here. Something happened to the West End that caused, because it wasn't always like that.
It absolutely was not.
So when you have an environment that lacks economics, funding, all of that, and you're giving that funding and to other communities, of course, who's going to go there? Who's going to go to a infested community where crime is high, the school systems are bad? Of course, you're going to try and move up there. Even we do it. But
No, that's my point right there.
uh,
We don't command the type of investment
right.
in our neighborhoods that white people command in their neighborhoods. There are two facets to it. One of the facets is their income.
Right.
You know, I was looking at statistics today, and black men on a weekly basis make about 86, 87 cents to white men's $1, and Asian men $1.05. So there's a big gap there. I was also looking at the income for black men and black women. And statistically, there are some age groups that are just like this, men, women. And some age groups, and based on education, and there was another demographic, I can't remember what it was, but it's up here for women, and it's like right here for men, black women, black men. But even this number right here in comparison to white men is still lacking. And then white women are about right here. White men are up here, and Asian men again are up here. So it's the investment component right there, and it's our income. Now, don't get it twisted. The lack of investment is structural. The lower income for the same jobs, same titles, same qualifications, all that stuff is structural. That's systemic. So I'm not here to say that black people are jealous of white people and we ain't trying to do nothing about it. No. There are systemic things going on in this country that still help to enforce the hierarchy. Because if that wasn't there, we would have experienced growth by now. I mean, just is what it is. So even though I do believe that I can make an argument that black people are jealous of white people, I don't believe that shit. I'm just keeping it real. No, I don't believe that. I believe that there, as Renee eloquently pointed out, there are definitely some things that we see that we want. We don't want at their expense. We just want equality. We want equity. We want equal treatment. And we want the law and the rules to work for us the same way. Speaking of that, Renee, what's wrong with y'all black women?
What do you mean?
I got to ring the bell on this. What is wrong with y'all? I need to know now. First of all, I'm on Clubhouse and I listen to these discussions. I came across a group of women who believe in divesting in black men. Now we're going to talk about this thing a little more in detail, but at its core, what it's saying, or what they are saying, is that black women, there's no value to dating black men because they're not doing anything. They're not making it. How long we got to wait for them to get their act together? Quit talking about stuff that happened 50 years ago. Quit doing, and it's just like, hey, I'm going to the white man. I ain't waiting on the black man to get his act together. We got our act together. How come y'all ain't got y'all act together? What do you think about this whole movement of black women divesting in black men?
To each his own. You know, I think that it clearly sets us up for failure. You know, we still trying to raise black men. You know, and taking that core or the essential things away from a black man, like, oh, you ain't got your shit together, you know, you're not here and I'm there. It's so derogatory. I think that it sets us going backwards. We're going backwards when we're starting to do that. You know, we should uplift our black men. You know, I was watching the show the other night. I know you probably didn't watch Love and Hip Hop.
No, I did not watch it.
Well, it was very interesting because they talk about how black men have so much pressure on them, and they actually deal with mental illnesses, and you know how they cannot confront the mental illness. So I think that group, you know, to each his own, but to me, I think that's just taking us backwards. I mean, we need to help our black men. I mean, it's times that we don't know what that man has gone through. You know, but to help encourage him and keep pushing him, because clearly I'm sure that's not where he want to be, and that's in all races.
Now, the man that was hosting the group, this is what he said, I'm paraphrasing. He said, I'm not heterosexual, I don't care. I'm homosexual. However, I do believe that we should do more to try to get families going. And his standpoint was, black women, marry who you can. Not black women marry black men. Black women marry who you can, who's qualified. Now, I can see the argument. Where I will disagree is if we keep turning away from each other, how does that not help to sustain white supremacy? And their standpoint was, nah, this is not helping white supremacy. This is helping myself. I have to help myself. What are your thoughts on that? Just that whole concept that I'm relaying to you.
Again, I'm saying that's taking us backwards because we, in our generation at least, and prior to our generation, we grew up with the family. You know, the unity of family. The man, the wife, and then the children. And I think having that is essential into a child's life, because even if those parents are later down the road not together but co-parent very well, I think that sets the child up for success. And when you're going backwards, you're messing up the unity of family.
I do not disagree at all. Now, I'll say this, and then what we'll do, I got a couple of videos I want to play that'll help to expand the conversation. When it comes to the whole tone of that room, those particular women sounded exasperated. They were like, oh, I'm done. I've tried all this other stuff, and, you know, black men just ain't shit. That's what it was boiling down to. And I get treated like a princess by this white guy. Every black man I've ever dated has betrayed me. Every black man I've ever known has betrayed me. And one young lady said, every black man, did your father betray you? And she said, well, no. So she had to kind of, retract her statement. Every black man that hurt you can be one of two things. A sign that you don't know how to pick a good man, or a sign that you have low self-esteem and you settled for,
Right.
or allowed yourself rather to be treated like that. Now don't get it twisted. There's some people out there that can manipulate anybody. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that she's completely at fault. I am saying that there is some responsibility that you do share in recognizing that you allowed yourself to partner with that person. Good, bad, or indifferent, you did allow yourself to partner with that person. All right, we got a couple of comments. Lisa Brooks says, greetings, everybody. What it do, Lisa? What up, though? Claudette says, we only want what they have monetarily. That's it. She's talking about, are we jealous of white people? Why we gotta want their money? How come we just can't build our own money?
Right.
I think I got a little bit of money. Renee, you got a bit of money?
I think I'm just, look.
Let me hold $20 to tomorrow. But no, the point of it is, though, what they got, let them keep. We just focus on what we building.
And I don't think we just want their money.
What do you think?
I think we want the resources, the availability to the resources. Like, they have the good communities, they have the connections, It's not always about money. Mm-hmm. It's just sometimes they know this person, they know that person, and we do too, but not at the level that they do.
How did they get there? The government put them there. That's how they got there.
Yeah.
So when everybody's always talking to me about, no, we need to pull ourselves together, yeah, we do. That's correct. Mm-hmm. But every community that has gotten a solid foundation, they got it from the government. Mm-hmm. There are all types of community or government programs for immigrants of certain persuasions and ethnicities to help them get a head start in America.
That's right.
Okay, now don't get it twisted. Virtually every cosmetic industry was started in our community. Hair, nails, started in our communities. Who owns those now? Who has the market cornered on hair?
Nails.
And nails. You know this for a fact. Mm-hmm. So the deal is, what about gas stations? We used to own gas stations too. Who has that market virtually cornered?
Yes.
A lot of people of Arabic descent. That's not by accident. That's with government assistance. So yes, there was more that we need to do to work and build on our own. However, white people didn't get to where they got by pulling themselves up by their bootstraps. Programs were put in place to build the white middle class. The same programs were denied to our veterans who were coming home. They couldn't get the same types of programs and low-cost loans and to live in these specific parts of town. No, they were redlined by the government. Don't get it twisted. All right, going back to are we jealous of white people? Mm-hmm. I got a clip that asked the question, are black people cooler than white people? Now, I think the answer is self-evident, but let's just watch this clip to see what these people have to say about the perception that black people are cooler than white people. Go ahead and roll that clip for me.
My knees. Honestly, black people are so cool and good looking. We should always chill together. I hate being white. Ugh. Black people are so cool 24/7. Why would you want to kill a bunch of black people? Black people are so cool.
Are black people cooler than white people?
Okay, seriously, what does that mean?
God.
It depends on your definition of cool, though.
Maybe sometimes.
I just think people are cool for their own different reasons, and I'm not even trying to be PC here.
Cool doesn't exist without blackness.
Do you think that white people think that black people are cooler than them?
Well, if they think that way, they're very insecure.
They like to kind of see things and then go, oh yeah, maybe I could do that as well because they look really cool, so if I try it then I'm going to look cool as well.
People, isn't even the fact that it is inherently cool, it's just that it's different. And because it's different, you know, white people sadly just want to jump into it.
Hear ye, white people of the world, prepare to be triggered because I have something to say. I'm so scared this is gonna fly out my hand. Thinking that a black person is cool does not make you not racist. In fact, it's quite the opposite. Let me explain. Coolness is born from rejection. The minority are always cool. Okay, so this is good. Your subconscious or conscious bias might tell you that we're criminals, lazy, less intelligent than our white peers, but at least we're cool. You can let us have that, right? Wrong. From slang created by black women, yes, to pumping your lips full of Botox until they practically pop all over your jerk rice, black culture is gawped at, dismissed, and ridiculed before it's studied, mimicked, and regurgitated. One of the earliest adoptions, and by adoption I mean downright theft of black culture, is tap dance.
Yeah, that video kind of goes on. I don't want to let it take up all the conversation, but what do you think, Renee? She started to hit on some really good points.
She really did toward the end. I think she brought it home to talk about, okay, the yes, and how you mimic it. You want our lips, you want our language, you want, so I think we are cool because you're trying to duplicate us. Because we can't duplicate them. I mean, if you look at the mass, how many black people are bleaching their skin, getting in tanning beds, braiding their hair, doing the things to change their color?
Oh, it's happening too much more now.
Okay.
Especially in some countries.
Okay, but in this country, how many Europeans are doing just that to look like us?
A whole lot of them. A whole lot of them.
A whole lot.
It becomes beauty trends. It becomes fashionable. It becomes in vogue.
Yes.
It's crazy the way that we will do things in our communities for decades. And then one white woman does it, Bo Derek, with cornrows, running on the beach, with beads in her hair. It's a damn trend. Kim Kardashian, braiding her hair back, calling them boxer braids. And I mean, sister's been doing that forever. So it's crazy how they can take something that we do innately, copy it. First of all, she said it perfectly. They ridicule it in the beginning. They did the same thing with our music. Back in the day, it was rhythm and blues. And for every song Little Richard came out with, Pat Boone was right there stealing it, bleaching it out, and selling it to the white kids. Until Little Richard said, I'm going to sing it harder than he can sing it. He won't be able to keep up. And Pat Boone still got richer. Until Michael Jackson finally gave Little Richard his masters. So don't get it twisted. Yeah, we cooler than y'all. Am I wrong?
We cooler than them.
Now, okay, now I done seen some cool ass white dudes in my life. Don't get it twisted. Okay. Some of y'all got some black somewhere down in y'all genealogy. It is what it is. But for the most part, yeah. Now, Renee, growing up, have you ever seen a person that you would consider to be a nerd who was black?
Oh, of course.
Yep, that happens in our neighborhoods too.
Yes.
What about somebody that was a little geeky? Yeah, that happens in our neighborhoods too. Don't get it twisted. For the most part, though, yeah, we pretty damn cool. Not hating, it's just a fact. The number is 470-251-4647. All right now, y'all, here comes that smoke. I found a video over what I was talking about with black women who have started to divest in black men. I want to play this video, Black Women Are Divesting, but here's the setup for it now. There's some women that are frustrated. They feel like they've been working their asses off. They've gotten all these things accomplished. Where is my matching black man? He ain't there? Well, guess what? I'm done with y'all anyway. We're going to watch a little bit of this video. Now, first of all, the clip starts at 1 minute and 27 seconds. The rest of it in the beginning is just like some setup and introductory stuff. I want to get right to the meat of it. It's about 3 to 4 women in this clip. I want you to listen to what they're saying to each other, how they're talking to each other about black men and the black community. Let's go ahead and roll that clip. Black women are divesting. Here we go.
What's up, everybody? I finally got myself together. Oh, I had drama with the internet. I had to keep rebooting my router and everything. I just could not get online. So I'm over here sweating, trying to make sure I get here in time. I see all our guests are here, all smiles and bright and ready to go and talk about this important topic. I just want to let everybody know, in case you aren't real clear, what we're doing today is a panel discussion on this hot topic that's going through the black community. It's called the divest movement, divestiture, where black women are, this is like a war cry. They're like, divest, divest. Every time there's something that happens that's, negative associated with black males and how they interact and talk to black women. So these ladies have a lot of, more knowledge about it than I do, because, I just do like relationship stuff. But it's a part of it, but kind of on a peripheral sense. So I wanted to get together a group of women who, actually know what they're talking about, rather than have me just research it and sit up here and talk about what I read. I want people who are here who can explain it to you, who are living it, who are talking it, who are doing shows on it, who are writing blog posts on it. So they're going to be here to answer your questions. I will call for questions a little bit later in the show after I talk to them. So you guys hold your questions. Don't ask them now, because they won't get answered. Okay, just hold on to them, make a note somewhere. And then when I call for questions, post them up, and then we'll put them on the screen, and then they can respond to them. Okay. So let me start getting everybody here. Let's see, how do I do this? You guys gonna have to unmute your mic.
Okay. I should have queued that one up better. That's my bad right there, Brother Joe. Because in the course of the conversation, the panelists, they make their statement, they make their case.
I just was knowing we was about to wait to hear their case. I want to hear it.
Now, so Brother Joe, if you can do me this favor, if you kind of forward it a little bit in the back of the house for me, and then we'll pull it back up in a few minutes. Just let me know when you get it pulled up. I'll give you more of a preview of what they're saying now. They are basically saying that it's time out for trying to heal black men. It's time out for trying to build with black men who got low ambition. It's time out for us sacrificing and always being the backbone of the black community. It's time out for all of that stuff. First, those are the things that they're saying.
Sound like they need some healing.
That could be true. That could be true. Now, the fact though, what can happen is this. I can go find statistics to support virtually any argument I make. So if you want to find statistics that will help you justify divesting in black men, you can actually find them.
I'm sure.
You go look at the incarceration rates and you say, oh, black men are always the most incarcerated. And hey, they ain't lying. You can say black men are the biggest people who commit homicide, and they ain't lying. More black men kill more black men than more white men kill more white men.
I agree.
They're not lying, and they will stick and stay around those. You can't keep blaming the white man. Well, they got kind of a point. At the same time, yes, we can. Because that stuff ain't changed. We're having some of the same issues now that we had 50 years ago, 75 years ago, 100 years ago. We're having some of the same issues with police, with the courts, with theft, with our communities being decimated, not invested in. Some of the same issues. Yes, yeah, we can certainly talk about that. So without getting too deep into it, because I don't want to spoil it when we pull it back up, how do you feel about what they're attempting to justify?
I feel though they may have valid points to some extent. I think that they have valid points. That's just taking it to the level they're taking it at. I don't think that warrants going with investing in black males. I don't think that's warranted. I do understand it because, I mean, but black men can do the same thing and say the same thing about black women. I mean, I'm just being real. I mean, how many black men could come back saying, there's so many black women, you got all these children by different men, you're this, you're uneducated, you live in the projects, you're not trying to get better, so, hey, I'm just saying.
No cap, as the younger folk would say.
Right.
In fact, you know what, Brother Kush, don't worry about that other clip, man. I found the clip kind of articulating why some black men have disdain towards some black women. And before I play the clip, ironically enough, some of the things that you said, you can almost hear in what this man's saying. Now again, I want everybody to understand something. We're having a discussion about this stuff. I'm not saying this is how I feel about black women, how my son feels, any of my brothers feel, or any man that I know feels. This is something we got to discuss because there's other things that are still going on while we were dealing with this and not really working together. So this is why some black men hate black women. Go ahead and roll clip.
Can somebody explain to me exactly what black women did to make damn near every race, even a lot of our own black men, hate us?
Sure can. Took advantage of government assistance. Kicked us out of the house. Joined the feminist train and demonized your men. Allowed billions of dollars every year to exit our community on fake aesthetics of beauty. Praised and joined homosexual men while demonizing heterosexual men that assert themselves. Took our children away from us and used them as bargaining chips to further financially disenfranchise us. Used sex as a weapon in our intimate relationships to get what you want. Became the only women in the world to tell the world that they don't need their men. Perpetuated the trope that black women are the backbone of black communities, which directly implies that black men have no spine and are useless. Continually pushing the narrative that black women are the winners of the oppression Olympics while not having any metric of which they are treated worse than black men. Allowed their weight to slip such that sexual attraction is diminished. Hot girl summer. Engaged heavily in prostitution, legal sex work, OnlyFans, etc., and then demanded that your men protect and respect you. This is just the tip of the iceberg. I can make a part 2.
I mean, so as you said, the argument can be made on both sides. Now, again, I ain't saying that I agree 100%, and I'm certainly not saying that I hate black women. He is making some valid points. Now, I want to dispel one myth. Right now, to receive federal housing assistance, the man does not have to be kicked out of the home. That is no longer the case. It hadn't been the case in quite some time now. When the law was first enacted, is what he's talking about. And I was having a conversation with a good friend about this today, and her standpoint was those women had to make a decision. Feed their kids or not feed their kids. Hey, I get it. Excellent point. Now, what the young man in the video, what I believe he's saying, is that that was done and it displaced the men from the house, and it had a more detrimental effect because he wasn't there anymore. That's the harm. Not picking to choose your to feed your children, but having the man forced out of the home created more long-term damage than that government benefit. What do you think about his comments?
Hey, I just had said the same thing. I think it's just like I said, when we go into trying to belittle gender, our own, it can just backfire for so many different. I mean, we can look at a black man and say, you uneducated, you don't want to work, you this, you that. But then when we flip the script and look at real society, he's right. Look how much money we're investing into the beauty industry. You know, that's outside of us. You know, we're doing that. I mean, and look how many I'm guilty of it myself. I invest into Louis Vuitton and that. Look at that's money out the window. Then we are not a lot of women. You just as you said, he's not trying to better himself. You're not trying to better yourself. You have 3-4 children, and this is no shot, but I'm saying you got a single male out here. You want him to come and play the role of a father to 3 or 4 kids that the daddy ain't even taking care of. You know, that's you got to take all that in consideration. I mean, and then when you get up, you forget where you been, because we don't walk out the door being educated with master degrees, or walk out the door with $1 million cars or expensive cars. We work toward that, stepping stones, just like the black male. So I'm not with that.
Now
I got sons, so I'm not with that.
I am with you. Now feel me on this one, ladies. I'm happy to say that my sphere of women ain't got these issues. The vast majority of women that I know and have known from high school to college, the vast majority are married right now. Or they have been married and recently became unmarried. They don't have these types of things. Now, I'm not saying their relationships are perfect. I'm just saying my circle of friends who happen to be women, for the most part, are married women, happily married women at that, with children that are in college or grown, that are going on to accomplish big things in the military. So when I see these videos, I'm a bit disconnected from it because it's not my reality. What I will say is there are some women who have fiercely fought and earned their degrees, their master's degree and their terminal degrees. They have fiercely worked hard in their careers. They put all that energy in becoming successful at everything except being a successful partner, except being a successful wife. The wife part always took a back step, a back seat. Now, a lot of white women have done the same thing while figuring out how to be a good wife. Because even though they don't get married at the rate that they used to, our marriage rates are still 30%, something like that. They're low as hell. And we have the lowest marriage rates. Now we have the most educated class of women with the highest amount of student debt. I mean, I'm not disparaging. I'm just saying these are the realities that a lot of women are facing right now. There's some women who are facing that. I'm not going to say a lot. I'm saying that there are women who have studied their asses off, worked their asses off at everything except being good in a relationship, being a viable partner in a relationship. That's a problem. That's a problem. So it ain't all on the black man. It's a black community issue. It ain't all on the black women. It's a black community issue. We fix the black family issue in our community. That fixes virtually everything. All right, Renee. Here comes some of that foolishness. In America, there was a young man by the name of Emmett Till who was accused by a white lady of whistling or flirting at her. Emmett was visiting his cousins. He was from Chicago. I believe he was from Chicago. Chicago. Visiting his cousins. And when the lady lied and said that she did lie, that he whistled at her, they went and got Emmett and basically lynched him. Just horrible the things that they did to his body. How about this? Last week in Oregon, a young black man was murdered, allegedly because he made a compliment at this guy's white girlfriend. So while we got all this black men hating on black women and black women hating on black men, we still dealing with this foolishness. I want to roll this clip. This one's called While We Are Arguing, This Is Happening. Go ahead and roll that clip for me.
Nothing more American than a black man being killed just for talking to a white woman. I'm not talking historically, I'm talking September 19th, 2021, Bend, Oregon. In a modern-day lynching, Ann Cranston killed Barry Washington for complimenting Allie Butler outside a bar. Breakdown is simple. Ann's friends started fighting Barry. Ann was off to the side. Ann pulled out a gun, and to quote the DA, punches had stopped, and it was just some shouting. And then at that point, Cranston pulled a gun out of his waistband and shot. Sounds like murder. On video, it looked like murder, but of course, Ann Cranston was only charged with second-degree manslaughter. This man was free within a day, but Barry is gone forever. Make some noise for Barry Washington today and every day. There can be no peace until there is justice. Justice for Barry.
Okay, y'all, don't get it twisted. It wasn't just a white man talking about this. There were black women talking about it too. The clip that I meant to pull was of the black woman. That's my mistake. But I want to make the point that while we're arguing about why we don't like each other, stuff like this is still happening. This was a few weeks ago. And so when I hear some people say, you can't focus on the past, that stuff happened a long time ago, I say that is some bull. The same stuff is happening now. We can't get mad about stuff that happened a long time ago. What about what happened to George Floyd just over 2 years ago? Huh? Well, just over a year ago, not 2 years ago, just over a year ago. Breonna Taylor, that ain't ancient history. What about the disparities in medical treatment and health disparities in this country? That ain't years ago. The CDC talks about that being a problem right now. They call it historical disenfranchisement in the healthcare system. They said that last year. So when you say things like, we can't blame the white men for stuff that happened before you were born, woman, ain't nobody talking about the stuff before we were born. We're talking about the stuff right now. I'm just saying. Did you hear about that story?
I did. I sure did.
What'd you think about that?
I thought that, and the interesting thing was they fought, it was over.
Done.
And then he came back and killed the young man. And if I'm not mistaken, the young man was what, 22?
He was young. He was young. I'm going to say he probably took that L. You saw his eye. He had a little dot in his eye. He probably got dotted in the eye.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he took that L.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you know what? You know what's funny is that it's a shame you have to teach, like me, I'm teaching my kids, like, okay, like my son getting ready to go to college. Surround yourself with your own kind.
Yep.
Because they may lure you in and we never see you again. You know, they're not your friends.
In Cumming, Georgia, I believe it was Cumming, Georgia, or it might have been Beaufort, Georgia, somewhere up north. Not long ago, there was a young lady who went to her neighbor's house for a slumber party.
Way in the world I would have did that.
She was the only person of color there, only black person there. She ends up dead.
I thought they didn't even know where she was. She missing.
Face down in the backyard. And guess what? No charges were filed. No nothing.
What happened.
Nobody knows. Ahmaud Arbery. Case was quiet for a minute. The internet had to catch fire on that one.
Yep.
That's not years ago. That's less than 2 years. Less than 2 years ago. Less than 2 years ago. It's not quite 2 years now. KJ, Kendrick Johnson, in Valdosta, Georgia, rolled himself up in a wrestling mat. Now listen, I used to wrestle. I know what it's like to roll up one of those mats. There is no way a person's shoulders can fit in that little opening. It's just It just did not happen that way.
And how can you roll your own self up in the mat?
You cannot crawl down in a wrestling mat that has been rolled up. It is impossible. The hole is about this big. It's about 8 inches, in diameter. That's about it. You cannot get your shoulders, I don't care how you bend or what you do, you cannot do it. They rolled him up in that mat. Mm-hmm. Don't get it twisted. That was a straight up murder. And the evidence was all there. They know who did it. They did everything but allegedly, the father of the person that they believe killed him, he worked for the FBI. There was a documentary that came out not long ago and basically outlined how he went and intimidated people, had people arrested, covered up evidence, destroyed evidence, how he did all this stuff. He was forced to retire. He should have been arrested.
Exactly.
He should have been arrested for obstruction because he obstructed the investigation. Don't talk about stuff in the past, before I was born. No. We're dealing with the same stuff right now. You are just a little delusional. Whew. All right, now. It seems like you're ready. Girl, are you ready? I ain't even gonna do it. I ain't even gonna do it. R. Kelly was in the news. R. Kelly was found guilty on all 9 counts. Now, we got a news clip that we're gonna play basically recounting what happened, but let's set it up. Now, I'm gonna tell you right now, I believe that the first time that R. Kelly was brought up on charges, he should have gone to jail. This is my personal opinion. There is no way you're going to sit here and tell me that he was not guilty. They had to drop the charges for lack of evidence, and the young lady did not want to cooperate and testify. He got away with it. And I will say he got away with it because in that instance, he really did. We're going to play this clip. We'll come back and talk about it. This is R. Kelly in the news. Go ahead and roll that clip for me.
Thank you so much for joining us. We are going to begin with that breaking news from New York. In one of the most prominent trials of the Me Too era, a federal jury has convicted R&B superstar R. Kelly on all counts. 8 of sex trafficking and 1 count of racketeering, a charge usually associated with mobsters. Well, prosecutors accused Kelly of grooming young women and minors, luring them into unwanted sexual relationships. For decades, he denied any wrongdoing, and at first, his career continued to soar. His concerts sold out, and 12 of his albums went platinum. But a 2019 documentary focused new light on the allegations and gave voice to his accusers. Soon after, new state and federal charges followed. And now, he's a convicted sex offender. CBS's Jerika Duncan has reported extensively on this case. She joins us now from federal court in Brooklyn. Good evening, Jerika. What a day.
Yes, it has been a day, Nora. This is a historic case that was highly anticipated. You know, one investigator said that R. Kelly believed his fame would drown out the voices of his accusers. But a chorus of women took to the stand and described sexual abuse so graphic, we can't even go into detail on television. In the end, the jury believed the women.
The verdict came swiftly for R&B singer R. Kelly after weeks of sexually explicit testimony. The 54-year-old was found guilty on all sexual abuse counts for racketeering and sex trafficking violations. It took the jury of 7 men and 5 women around 9 hours to reach a verdict. One spectator could be heard weeping as it was read. Acting U.S. Attorney Jacqueline Kasoulis.
No matter how long it takes, the long arm of the law will catch up with you.
I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky.
For decades, the three-time Grammy winner topped the charts with mega hits. But allegations of sexual abuse kept mounting. Some of them seen here in this 2019 documentary, Surviving R. Kelly. Weeks after its release, he was arrested on charges of sexual abuse. He denied the accusations.
I didn't do this stuff. This is not me. I'm fighting for my life.
At one point, forcefully defending himself to CBS's Gayle King in an exclusive interview.
Robert.
The prosecution called 45 witnesses, including 11 accusers, 6 of whom testified they were underage when Kelly began having sexual encounters with them. Prosecutors argued that Kelly ran a criminal enterprise, using his fame, money, and power to control and sexually abuse his victims. Victims like the late R&B singer Aaliyah, who was allegedly around 13 years old when it began. Lizette Martinez, known as Jane Doe No. 9, says she was underage when R. Kelly forced her to engage in sexual acts.
If you could just describe for me how you're feeling after hearing the news.
I'm feeling extremely happy, relieved. I'm so proud of the women who were able to speak their truth.
Kelly did not take the stand, but jurors heard the testimonies of 5 defense witnesses.
And Kelly will be sentenced in May of next year. He's facing decades behind bars. When I asked an attorney on Kelly's team if they plan to appeal this case, he simply said there will be a lot of Monday morning quarterbacking on this one. And Nora, Kelly still faces a federal trial in Chicago.
But finally, some justice for the victims. Tarika Duncan, thank you.
All right. I wanted to let that whole thing play because I was under some misconceptions myself about what he was charged with. Those sexual misconduct charges, they did include minors. I thought that those allegations were only against women who were of age at the time that the sexual encounter happened. And I was wrong about that. I do believe that, well, before I get that, I want to get your feelings on it. What do you think, Renee?
I have mixed feelings. I think I agree with you. I think originally when he was accused years ago, he was guilty. I think he was guilty, but they lacked the evidence. I also feel today with all of this, you putting it out there, like if he wasn't guilty, because I don't know if he's guilty or not, but if he wasn't, let's just assume he's not truly guilty. Mm-hmm. With all the things that happened in the media, with all the publicity around him, he was guilty before he even went to court because they went and arrested him. I just feel like as parents, let's just start at the parent level. How could it happen? How could your child be a victim of R. Kelly when you were in contact with R. Kelly? I mean, it's like, were you caught up in the fame? I mean, it's questionable to me. Like, I'm a mother. I don't have a daughter, but I'm a mother, and as a parent, even my sons, how are you somewhere spending the night with a grown man? Why are you at the court, meeting him at court? You're going to him. Now, I'm not saying he's justified, but I'm still just wanting to know, where was the parents at? What happened there? It's a breakdown. So he's accused of doing his acts. I feel that the parents should be put on charges too. Neglect of your child. I mean, how do you allow something like that to happen? I'm only speaking for the underage children. Mm-hmm. Because nobody should have more control over your child than you.
I don't disagree. I will tell you that when I think about it, that was the first thing I went to. Now listen, if you're a fan of Aaliyah, understand I'm a fan of Aaliyah as well. That whole thing with R. Kelly and Aaliyah getting married when she was that young, at first I thought it was a publicity stunt. I thought it was just a way to get her name out there more. That's what I thought that it was. I can remember the buzz starting to be that R. Kelly was actually basically controlling her. And there were a couple of local radio hosts that were really just incensed at the way that R. Kelly was handling Aaliyah. And they pulled no punches. At the same time, Aaliyah's parents were aware of what happened. They knew about it. Now, I'm saying the parents knew. And I think they decided that, okay, we have to do this for her career. Some things just ain't worth it. I mean, it's just not worth it. Now, I wish Aaliyah was still here making good music. Today, we heard 1 in a Million in the studio, and it was bumping. It still bumps right now. Her music now is available on streaming platforms now. Going to what was said earlier, though, about the publicity, Bill Cosby, and I was going to play this video, but I don't want to play the video. I'm just going to talk about what Bill Cosby was saying. He said Gloria Allred was involved in this thing, and they did the same thing to R. Kelly that they did to me. They paraded out a bunch of women and basically demonized him in public and then took him to trial. Now, black women, don't get it twisted. This country will weaponize you in a second. I need y'all to understand, the women in our community, they will weaponize you in a second. Here is what I mean. The feminist movement weaponized you. That was the white woman's fight. But they pulled you in, and you still really didn't get nothing for it. Your pay isn't on the level as white women. You don't have as much access as white women. You're not treated the same as white women. You got a raw deal. The Democratic Party will weaponize black women. You think they won't? Wait till the next election roll around. Wait till the next national election roll around, how they're going to be appealing to black women. Remember not long ago in Birmingham, Alabama, they helped to deliver Alabama's first Democratic senator in quite some time. You know what happened last year, at the beginning of this year rather, in Georgia? The influential vote of the black women helped Georgia have 2 Democratic senators, and one of them is black. They'll weaponize you in a second. So if you sit there and you think that they didn't weaponize you during the Bill Cosby trial and the R. Kelly trial, just go look at the internet. Look at what was said and look who was saying it. That was you saying it, black women. Now, don't get it twisted now. I believe that R. Kelly should have been convicted years ago. Years ago. I believe that he was guilty. Based on what I saw, if that was my niece, yeah. I don't even know if it would have been a trial. I'm not even gonna lie. The bottom line of it is, our women are so powerful, and when they become passionate about it, y'all can make anything happen. And that can be weaponized, and in some instances, it's being weaponized against our own community. We certainly don't need that. Don't need that. Okay, all right. So we know what's going on with the aura. We already know what Bill Cosby had to say about that. I just want to kind of shift it now as we get into hour number 2 about how powerful black mothers are. This is crazy now. I know that my mother just turned 85. Happy belated birthday, moms. I know that when she says certain things, when she says it a certain way, well, it's just going to be what it's going to be. She wanted it that way, that's exactly how it's going to be. At 85, and I'm in my 50s. Still straighten up. It is what it is. But I got this clip. This is the Braxton sisters' mother. They were all on Y'all Done Fixed My Life. And just watch what happens when mom snaps up on a piece. I'll tell you, boy, just watch this thing. It's just amazing how when your mama check you, I mean, you have been checktified. Go ahead and roll that clip for me.
Who gets the corrector? Wait a minute! Calm down. Whether you agree with Ayanna or not, you cannot disrespect her. Because none of you were raised that way. Tell her what you feel, but it's a way to do it, baby.
So I'm not due respect.
No, respect your elders. Let's go with what the word. You want to go with the word? I got this, Trina.
I didn't say anything, Mommy. I'm sorry.
We will. I'm telling you right darn now. You say one more word, and I got you. We will respect her. Do I make myself clear?
Did she check her ass or what? I mean, I'm just asking, did she check her ass?
Say one more.
One more word, and I got you. and you could tell inside her head, Tamar was cussing her out.
Oh, yeah.
And you could tell in her head, because she had like bite her lip a couple of times. And she rolled a little neck. Yeah, boy, listen. I bet everything you said in your head was raw as hell, though. I bet you went off in your head. I bet you told her in your head. But you knew better to let what's never come out your mouth come out the wrong way. And the part that I like how her face was in the beginning, how much intensity she had in the beginning, because she was making her point. But as the clip went on, her face was like, well, you better be glad my mama here, because I would have got you if my mama wasn't here. Is Tamar the youngest?
Yeah, she the baby.
That's what it is. She the youngest. She's probably the most spoiled of the bunch, or she's probably the one that wants the most attention. Now, not all youngest people in the family act that way. I'm the youngest of Bill and Margaret's talented 10. Don't get it twisted. I'm the youngest. I think they saved the best for last. But I won't act like that. You can have that, especially around my mom. No. Not gonna happen, not gonna happen. All right, so let's talk about some other stuff now. We done talked about a lot. We've talked about black men not liking black women divesting from the black community. We talked about are black people jealous of white people? Are black people cooler than white people? We've talked about a whole lot of stuff. But you know what time it is. It's time for you to close your mouth and listen. You ask me some questions, I give you some answers from a man's point of view. Now, I got one reason for the habitually single woman and one reason for the habitually single man as to why you might be single. But before we get into that, here is my disclaimer. Now, see, what I'm going to talk about might not apply to you. If it doesn't apply to you, and I want you to put your foot up in this shoe. But if it does apply to you, I want you to put both feet in both shoes and walk around in them, because you're about to learn something tonight. Ladies, you go first. All right, ladies. Some of y'all are single simply because you think you Deborah, but you really Delilah. Don't get it twisted. Now Deborah in the Bible is a woman of great stature, great importance. She's well respected. Everybody practically respects her judgment. They know that she's wise, she's passionate, she's influential, she's all of those things, and she's venerable. That's Deborah. That's who you think you are. But you Delilah. Everybody knows Delilah betrayed Samson. She was a spy. She basically did everything she could to learn what his weaknesses were. And she exposed those weaknesses. She tore him down. She didn't find out his strength to seed and fertilize that strength. She found his strength to tear him down. And that's what you represent. Not that sense of woman, or that would inspire a man or build a man up, not necessarily being a crutch for him, but being inspiration for him to better himself. Not because you've done anything, just because of who you are. That's not you. You Delilah. And you know what? Just like Delilah cut Samson's hair, well, that man cut your ass off. And that's why you single. Renee, what you think?
I agree.
Oh,
I agree to
we
that.
got an agreement today.
I agree.
Uh-huh.
I definitely agree.
Out there thinking that you Deborah. Walk around, my name is Deborah. Your name is damn Delilah. Yeah, all right, fellas. Don't think I'm letting y'all off the hook. Fellas, you are next. All right, fellas, I'm going to remind y'all of this because this is one of my favorite ones to tell you now. But some of y'all are single simply because you still got your mama nipple in your mouth. Don't get it twisted. What I'm talking about here is metaphorically, of course, but you are still clinging to your mother in a way that stunts your manhood. It stunts your growth. It also causes unnecessary competition when another woman wants to occupy that space because you have not left your mother's or your father's house. Well, your father probably ain't even there. So you ain't left your mother's house yet. Mentally, you still live with your mama. Mentally, you are still under your mother's thumb. Some mothers smothered their sons and stunted their growth. And they grew up thinking, what you gonna do for me? I saw my mama do all these things. What do you bring to the table? I will submit to you that's a man who still has his mama's nipple in his mouth. Fellas, what I want you to understand is the moment you take your mama's nipple out your mouth, you begin to grow up on your own, and another woman will put her nipple in your mouth. But you refuse to do that. And that's exactly why your ass is single. All right, Renee. What you think?
I'm going to have to agree and disagree.
Okay, let's talk about it. We got some agreement and some disagreement. I'm ready.
I agree to a certain extent. I think that some men are so stuck on being mama boys, you know, but I also think that some men are just trying to, okay, you got your mother, she's a strong woman, you watched her do it, you get with a girl, and you typically, let me ask a question about that.
Okay.
Do you think that you modeled yourself or looked at a woman, the women that you have been attracted to, did they have traits with your mother?
Yeah, identify by
A
traits.
lot of them.
Yeah.
A lot of traits that your mother had, right?
Yeah.
Okay, did you make a comparison?
I won't say the comparison. What I'll say is, okay, I've seen the template of what good women do. And either you're in that box or you're not.
My point exactly, but it's geared toward you were presented, right?
With what I was presented,
That's right. Okay, so I say that to say this because I heard the part about some men, you know, they still got their mom breast in their mouth, but
nipple.
Okay, same thing. I'm trying to be nice. But could it also be that, hey, I watched my mother do this, so I got these, this is the standard?
Okay. I won't disagree with that.
Okay.
Good point, counterpoint.
Counter.
Now remember, what your mother was doing wasn't optimal. She was operating as a single mother. You didn't get the whole picture because you didn't see a relationship, a familial relationship. And that's what I saw. I got to see my mother and my father. So when I saw my mother operating, I saw her operating mostly as a mother and a partner. Not, you know, just as a mother.
Right, right.
And so,
because you had the family.
Absolutely. So I had a much more well-rounded view of what women do in the role as a mother, in the role as a partner, in the role as a woman.
I agree.
Okay.
And some of them may too, but it's all dependent on the partner, right? Because you could have a partner that just, you could be a mother's boy. I'm saying I agree with that. However, you could also just have standards. You know what your role is as a man, but you know what the quality of a woman you want as well. And it's not because you got the breast of your mother in your mouth. It's more because
Nipple.
I have, the breast nipple. I have standards.
Okay, I feel you.
You know?
Excellent point. Counterpoint.
All right.
So when you talk about those men, those particular men who saw their mother doing everything.
Not everything.
Well, that's who I'm talking about.
Okay.
The men who saw their mother being the single mother, doing everything, working hard, making sure they got nice shoes, cooking, doing everything in the house all by herself. What that does, it creates an natural view of what women are supposed to do. And so they take that imprint and they project it in the same way that I did. I took my imprint and I projected it out there, and I used that to measure who I saw as a quality woman. They're looking at an extreme.
I agree.
And so when you say to a woman, hey, my mom did it all, she's a strong woman, you don't want to do that. You're not a strong woman. They're discriminating against women because they don't know the fullness.
Picture. Right.
That's all I'm saying.
I got you. I just got to counter you sometimes.
It's all good. It's all good. It's all good.
Both of them.
It's all good. It's all good. Let me ask you this question. Did you see the season finale of Raising Kanan?
I did.
What'd you think about that show?
I loved it. I loved it.
Let's talk about the whole season 1 on Raising Kanan.
So let's talk about the mother first.
Okay.
Okay. So I think that, well, remember, we found out as the season progressed that the police officer was the boy's father.
Yep.
Okay. And she set that boy up to kill his father.
Kill his father.
Now, that's going to backfire. I think that's going to backfire.
It is.
I also liked, well, the daughter, what was it? Juice Box.
Jukebox.
Oh, is it Jukebox?
Yeah, she said Juice Box.
Okay. Jukebox. Okay. Her role, I mean, she's a very talented young woman. Let me just say that first. Yep. I think she got caught up in a situation, and it shows how black women have to find themselves, and then how her father, she had to fight with her father. Like, I mean, he beat her as if she was a dude on the street.
Yeah, he did.
But it was good. I think that the moral of the story was more of 50 Cent going back into his actual life, where his mother and her brothers were big drug dealers, right?
Yep.
And him having to leave his mother to go live with his grandmother because it was so, you know, out of control.
The block is hot.
The block is hot. But overall, I think that it was a good, I liked the sitcom. I think it was very good. It kept me engaged.
Okay.
Yeah, what did you think?
You know, I'm going to say this right now. Between Tasha from Power, what's Mary J. Blige's character?
I can't remember her name, but yeah.
Yeah, her and Kanan's mother, I forgot her name too.
I did too. Raquel.
Thank you.
Rock.
All three of them are terrible mothers.
I agree.
They're the absolute worst.
You teaching your kids
game. All three of them taught their kids the game.
They had to.
Oh, they didn't have to?
Well, they really did, technically. Yeah, you had to.
See, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Kanan was smart as hell.
He was.
He just got caught up because she got him too close to the game. She kept him way too close to the game. His uncles out there slanging.
And
they picking him up.
With him. Right.
Thank you. That's on the mom. Moms did that. Let's talk about Tasha.
Yeah.
First of all, I'm sick of Tasha. I can't stand Tasha because Tasha was toxic throughout that whole relationship. What she did, Ghost in the beginning said, hey, you know, what do you think about me? I don't want to do this no more. What about this, that, and that? She said, you're the biggest drug dealer in the game. You ain't nothing more than that. She said it, and it hurt his feelings. After that, he's like, you know what? Let me go back to my old girl, Angie. Bump Tasha. Back to, yeah, Angela. He called her Angie, though, whatever her name is.
But you talking about going to the next show with Mary J.
That's where I'm going now,
okay.
Yeah. So with, I can't think of her name, but whatever her name is in Ghost, in that series, Finding Ghost, whatever it is, she got her kids basically.
As the dealers.
I mean, they are the dealers. They running the block. One of her sons, Bobby Brown. I can't think of his name either. He graduated from Florida A&M University, HBCU. But Bobby Brown, I'm gonna call him Bobby Brown. Y'all know who I'm talking about. He the damn enforcer.
Yeah.
He's sleeping, or she's sleeping with a dirty cop, and then her drug dealing husband in the jail, and it's just bad decisions.
Son and you care more about your nephew. Is that a nephew that's in college?
That's it. Protecting the nephew.
I'm like, no.
I rest my case. All these black women in these shows need to be kicked off these shows. You're bad role models. Claire Huxtable would never.
Oh, never.
Claire Huxtable would never.
Never, ever.
Debbie Allen from Fame would never. We need some better role models. These moms around here walking around trying to look like Mary J. Blige from Ghost and trying to look like Tasha. Tasha got her hair braided up in jail in the orange suit. She out now. She's out now.
And then she got out, remember?
Did she get? Yeah, she got out at the end of the season. Yeah. Now let's talk about how all this is going to come together. Now, this is my prediction.
Okay, what's yours?
All right, now that we're at the end of season 1 of Raising Canaan, in season 2, I think it's going to be a few years down the line. He's going to be a little bit older. The cop's still going to live. He not going to rat out what's his name because he need the donor. He's trying to get the donation because he got cancer. Rock gonna be running it. She gonna be running it. But because she killed Canaan's best friend, and she had him killed, and he gonna find out that you made me kill or try to kill my dad, he gonna kill her, just like he killed his own son in Power.
I don't think that's how it's gonna end.
Okay, what you think?
I think Rock gonna get caught up from the dealing she did to, what's the guy name that he ended up getting?
The light-skinned guy?
The one that got arrested for...
Oh, yeah, I know you're talking about. I can't think of his name either.
I think him and his crew gonna get rocked.
You think so?
I really do. I think that's gonna turn back around and they're gonna get her. I think that the brothers are gonna be okay. I think one of them gonna go down. I think the one that is really... Lou don't want to be in the game no more.
Yeah, he's trying to get out.
He's trying to get out. But I think it's going to be too late for him to get out because he's attached to her.
Yep.
And then, of course, because if you think about it, Power is after all of that. Power took place after the fact.
Yep.
So, the only thing I'm trying to figure out is who's Ghost? Who is Ghost in these?
He's not there yet.
Okay. That's what it is.
I think in season 2,
he going to be introduced.
Tommy and Ghost will probably be introduced as younger kids because remember, because
they were friends.
And he put them on.
And then he went to jail.
They turned on him.
Right.
They set him up to go to jail. Now, remember in Tariq's show, Ghost. Okay, that's happening now.
Right.
Power already happened, and Raising Canaan happened in the past.
Right.
And so I think they're going to give more backstory on Jukebox. You got me messing up her name. Jukebox. And they're also going to give more background on Canaan, but it's just going to show what made him so dark.
Yes.
And as the season went on, he got darker, and he got darker as a character. So overall, I enjoyed it. I just think some of the episodes in the beginning for me were slow.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I agree.
But as it got going, it got a whole lot better.
Yes, it did.
A whole lot better. Okay. Did you watch BMF?
I watched bits and pieces of it.
Bits and pieces of it. All right. What'd you think about it?
I thought it was good.
Yeah?
But I'm going to tell you, I'm so removed that I did not even know, like, this was also based on, like, true facts as well. Like, Meech, this is his father. Stuff for real.
It's real stuff?
Yeah, I'm thinking it's...
Yeah?
Yeah, okay.
It's real stuff.
And what I learned about it, like, okay, this is some stuff that really happened up north, and they migrated it down to Atlanta.
Yeah. The thing is, at first, I ain't even gonna front. I'm like, why they gotta keep spotlighting all these damn black drug dealer shows?
Right.
What's up with that? Why? And then it hit me. The Italians do the same thing with the Sopranos.
Oh, yes.
They have all these shows, all these these mafia shows, and it's no big deal. So I had to let it go because I recognized what I was doing. It's like, hey, I'm demonizing us telling a story about something that really happened in our neighborhood. And you got Goodfellas and The Godfather and The Sopranos and all these other mafia shows. Hey, you know what? We're going to tell our own stories. We're going to tell our stories our way. And I like the fact that it's directed by Tasha Smith.
Oh.
Yeah, she's. I think she's either the director or she might be the 50 Cent is the executive producer. She's the director.
Okay.
So I think she did a really, really good job. It was a little slow, and some of the acting for me, I think it's going to get better. Some of the acting for me left me like, I could have done that better, and I ain't even an actor. Line and cut. So, but overall, I enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to episode number 2 coming up tomorrow, I believe.
Yes, come on tomorrow.
All right, good deal, good deal, good deal. I love it. All right, what other shows you watch?
I was trying to think of this show. It has, I think it was called The Godfather. But no. But it has
The Godfather of Harlem?
Yes, that is it.
Yes.
I love that show.
Now look at him.
Yes. What's the main character name? I couldn't think of his name.
Frank Lucas. No, that's not Frank
What's
Lucas.
his real name?
Oh, one eye is sleepy.
I know.
The
That's
other
what I
eye
was
is
saying to
awake.
you, that's what I-
Forrest Whitaker.
Yes.
I had to remind myself by going back to my little thought process.
Yes.
The Godfather of Harlem.
That's a good show.
And is it Frank Lucas that he's playing?
That's who he's playing.
Yeah, okay.
Because they call him Frank.
Okay, let's talk about who he was. Now, don't get it twisted. Frank Lucas did not play.
Mm-mm.
Wait, this is not Frank Lucas.
They call him, what do they be calling him? Beanie, Genie, something, Eenie.
I can't think of it now. I have to pull it up and look at it. But the bottom line of it is, in The Godfather of Harlem, what he's doing is just taking over all of the families and basically becoming the main distributor. And it's very well written. The acting on it is powerful. It's relevant. And the way that they go about doing what they do, it's just, it's captivating. And so I've not seen one episode of The Godfather of Harlem where I wasn't like, man, it's not Frank Lucas. It's the guy before Frank Lucas.
Bumpy Johnson.
Thank you, Bumpy Johnson. Okay, so here's the thing. Frank Lucas used to be the driver for Bumpy Johnson. And so what you'll see now, you'll see this succession of power that was going on in our communities for a hot minute. They had to cut that off. I mean, because first of all, the Italian mafia, they wanted their cut. They weren't going to have all the stuff that was happening and them not being in control and them not having the money. So, you know, Bumpy was basically holding things down. Now remember, he also came from the Queen. It was like a hierarchy. The power kept being transferred, but it stayed in our communities. Them hot boys on the street now, look, they're just trying to get rich.
Yeah.
They just want theirs. There's no more investment back in the community. Now I'm gonna keep it a buck. I've been seeing some entertainers buying land in the community, helping banks become established with black dollars, so black lending can increase. Those types of things, they are happening, and I'm really happy to see it. There's some people who went to prison who used to be drug dealers who now are leading black investment in property programs all around the country. I love it. That's what we're talking about. It seems like there's this big awakening going on where everybody's like, hey, you know what? We ain't doing that stuff no more. This is what we doing. You know, we changing the game right now. I love it. Bumpy Johnson, the stuff that they were doing, oh man, they had the game. Now don't get it twisted. They were selling drugs to their own people. Don't get it twisted. I mean, Frank Lucas, with what he was doing, a lot of people got hurt. A lot of people died. Don't get it twisted. It would have been much better if they weren't selling to their own community, like the other people do. They really don't sell to their own community. They sell to our community. All right, I don't want to go too deep with that. But yeah, I think that season 2 ended on The Godfather of Harlem, and I'm ready for it to start back up.
Yeah.
I was mad that they stopped where they stopped. After they got all the doogie, then it caught fire.
Yeah.
All that work, all that doogie,
That was horrible.
and it caught fire. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. All right, what other show you watch?
There's this one. I'm horrible with the name of shows, but there's a show where this guy was in prison. Black young man, well, black guy went to prison for a crime he did not commit. You haven't seen that one? Well, he goes to jail for a crime he didn't commit, and he's in prison, and he becomes an attorney while he's in prison.
Oh yeah, I've heard of it.
What is it called?
I don't know, but I know what you're talking about. That's based on a true story.
It is based on a true story, and I think 50 Cent has something to do with that as well.
I know that if I'm recalling the case correctly, the man went to jail, got his law degree.
He did.
Got out of jail.
He did.
And went after the people who wrongly convicted him.
He did.
Yeah.
And he was also the attorney.
Yeah.
The jailmate's attorney. Yes.
Yeah.
And when he got out,
Love
he
it.
still was helping those that he felt that was falsely accused.
Absolutely. Love it. Love it. Now speaking of that case isn't that old.
No, it's not.
I'm bringing it back to talking about stuff that happened before you were born. We can talk about stuff that happened after we were born. Acting all crazy.
What shows do you watch?
I'm big on anime. I watch that. There's a show called What If right now. It's a Marvel show. Been watching that. Really, really good. If you don't know, you should watch it. What If? It takes the movies that have come out in Marvel, the characters, and it says, what if this happened differently? And it gives you an alternative version of the story. I love it. So what else do I watch? I watch a lot of news. Ain't even gonna front.
News?
I watch a lot of news.
I can tell. I can tell.
I watch a lot of news. I'll watch CNN. I'll change to Fox. I watch all that stuff because I want to hear the same stuff from different perspectives. So it don't matter who I run up on. I can bring that smoke. Because if it's a conservative, I already know what you're going to say because you got your talking points from Fox. I listen to a lot of NPR. NPR will give you the facts on it. They don't care who you are. They'll come down on you, but Republican or Democrat, and they'll really take you to task. So I love it. I love it. Now, we saw Mom shut it down with Tamar. I want to show you the impact of Mom when your mom really, really puts something special in your soul, when she really, really builds you up in the way that mothers do. Now, don't get it twisted. Fathers, we do the same thing in a different way. We put confidence in children and stuff like that. And, we provision and protection. And when done right, those are the things that we put in. But normally, that mother, when she puts whatever she puts in her son and in his spirit and his soul, or her daughter, it never, ever, ever leaves. So I just want to kind of show this clip. The clip is called Love from Mom. I want you to see this clip and look at the power of a powerful mother on this grown-ass man. All right, go ahead and roll that clip, Love from Mom.
I know my mama gonna see this, and I love her.
Good, bro.
I'm out here. I'm out here for us.
Right.
Can't understand these walks. I ain't expecting nobody else to understand them. Because when I tried to prove that, I was getting that backlash.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
You got me crying, boy.
I think
Can't nobody love you like mama. I mean, it's just facts. Can't nobody love you like mama. And I don't care how hard you think you are. Now, that's a professional football player. You saw the guy with the hat pulled down in the dreads? He got moved. Renee over here was like, oh. Y'all couldn't see it. But yeah, if he had played a little bit longer, I believe Renee would have started crying then.
He would have started crying.
Renee would have started crying then.
Jeffrey.
But the bottom line of it is, when your mother loves you like that, it forces you to action. It spurs you to action. The thing that I really took from that, he said, I'm doing this for us, not for himself. It was bigger than him. It was for him and his mother. I love it. That's nothing but power. What do you think, Renee?
I think that's deep, you know.
Let me get some tissue. I see them tears welling up in your eyes.
I think it's deep. I mean, he obviously has a story, you know. Him and his mother has a story behind that, and you know, he probably feel like he probably come from a single family home. Mom didn't sacrificed, and he's so grateful, and you can tell like the way he broke down. You know, that bond is there, and it's nothing like a mother's love. I mean, nothing.
I ain't mad at you. I ain't mad at you. So, yeah, there was something else that happened last week that I thought was kind of crazy. Actually, it was this week because the week is not over with. The Democrats can't get their damn act together. We almost had a government shutdown on yesterday. In fact, there were some government employees who did not get paid. They're correcting that. They're going to get their money. Don't get it twisted. But I think it was 3,400 employees that didn't get some money that they should have gotten. Now, they're going to get their money. This is just ridiculous that we can't get politicians to agree on the basic fundamentals of funding the government, raising the debt ceiling. Now, all of a sudden, after 4 years of fiscal irresponsibility, Republicans want to be like, no, we don't want to raise the debt ceiling. It's fiscally irresponsible. After making tax cuts and tax breaks, raising the deficit, investing in all types of bull, now they want to be fiscally responsible. And there are 2 Democratic senators who want to hold up the Democratic agenda from going forward. Because they want, 1, bipartisanship, and 2, they want something to be fiscally sound. We want means testing. We want to make sure that it's paid for. When Republicans are in control, they don't care about none of that stuff. They break all types of rules and precedents. They don't care about none of it. So I read something. The quote went like this. Remember the cartoon Tom and Jerry? Okay. There was a homeowner that knew Tom was there to get that little rat or mouse. Tom knew that if Jerry was gone, then the housekeeper might get rid of him. So Tom had to secretly protect Jerry to keep his place.
Right.
I believe that Democrats and Republicans secretly protect each other so they can be in place, because right now there are more Democratic voters than there are Republican voters. The only way Republicans can stay in office right now is by cheating, is by doing things like, what do they call it, gerrymandering, is by doing things like, what do they call it, voter suppression. That's the only way they can stay in power, because statistically, they are outnumbered. With the younger generation that's coming into power now, that's coming of age, those kids believe that government should do, I don't call them kids, those young adults believe that government should do more. And so the Republicans, those young Republicans, they're well outnumbered by the other younger people who don't believe a government that's more beneficial for the people is a bad thing. That's the only reason why I think they're holding this stuff up. Because they know they start taking care of child care, they start taking care of the human infrastructure part of it, that's going to empower the working class.
That's right.
They don't want to empower the working class. They don't want the working class to be too comfortable. Why do you think they were really trying to cut off those enhanced unemployment benefits? Because the working class wouldn't go back to work anymore. They got a taste of real money for once. Instead of that, what's the minimum wage? Minimum wage is still $7.25.
Is it?
I think it's 7 something, and it's been 7 something forever.
It's been 5 something forever in Georgia.
So, yeah, I'm gonna need these politicians to get their act together because, quite frankly, it's embarrassing that you would have a
725
for the minimum
2011.
since 10 years. It hadn't moved in 10 years. Now, let's see, inflation and cost of goods, cost of living, all that stuff is increased.
Just from 2019 to 20, it's an increase.
It's crazy. But they don't want to raise the minimum wage. They don't want to talk about a living wage. They don't want to. They don't want any parts to do with the human infrastructure bill to help promote the general welfare. They don't want to do any of that stuff. All they want to do is more tax breaks and more protection for the wealth class. Working class, they'll be all right. They can take care of themselves. And what's happening now is you got some Democrats that's tired of it. The progressives, they've gained a lot more clout. They're like, you know what, we don't care. We're not voting for nothing. Y'all not bullying us anymore. What do you think about that stuff? These foolish people out here messing around with our government.
I just think that, when they had the ball, the Republicans, they did what they wanted to do.
They did everything they wanted to do.
Everything they wanted to do. So I think the Democrats, we just need to keep it moving. Keep it moving.
It's ridiculous.
It is.
They fight. They're fighting with themselves. Joe Manchin's like, no, it can only be this amount, and I don't care. I'm not voting for it. And the squad, they're like, okay, don't vote for it. We're not voting for that either. It's gonna stay right there. And the Republicans just sitting back like, yeah, they ain't got their act together. It ain't even us. We're not even doing nothing. I just don't get it. I don't get it. But that's what's going on. I got one more video for y'all. It's a reminder that we can't have shit. Everything we get, everything, they try to take. Every single thing. They can't do it like us. Nope, but you can't do it like us. But they gonna try. So we're gonna play this video. I just want you to watch the caucasity of what you're about to see here. It's absolutely crazy. Go ahead and play it. We can't have nothing. Have nothing. Now, y'all know when we started the show, we were talking about are black people cooler than white people? Or are we jealous of white people? Hell no. That's the answer to both of them. Hell no. Hell no. Just is what it is. What you got planned for the rest of your weekend?
I'm leaving, going out of the country Thursday.
Look, my co-host, she gonna be sitting still. Like I'd be surprised sometimes that she still come to the show. Because before we started working together, every other week she's in another country. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you didn't take it over. You took it over. But yes. What about you? What are you doing?
I got to get out in that grass tomorrow. I'm still trying to get this grass working. I got my my herbicide, and I put it on. I see it starting to kill those last stubborn weeds. So I'm going to cut the grass tomorrow, and I'm going to spray the grass down one more time before I reseed and overseed and aerate and all that stuff. But that's what we're doing tomorrow.
Okay, and how about the week?
Work, more work, and more work, That's about it. That's how we do it. We work up in this piece. Okay. All right, listen, y'all, I need y'all to understand something. This is being completely serious. We got way too many issues to be talking about divesting in each other. You get way too many issues. I don't care where you go, you will never be able to outrun your legacy. I don't care who you try to run to. They will never be able to live up to the legacy that you have inherited. If you've had someone who treated you bad in your past, it is your fault for carrying that with you. Nobody told you to keep hold to those bad memories. Now, I'm not saying you don't gain experience and wisdom from it. Absolutely. But to hold on to the bitterness, you ain't hurting yourself, or you ain't hurting nobody but yourself. You're drinking the poison, hoping that it's going to kill somebody else. That's not how it works. So if you've been scarred to the point where you are considering divesting from black men and the whole black community, what I need you to recognize is that you're really saying that you are ashamed of yourself. I mean, that's what it boils down to. Whether you know your father or not, a black man helped to create you. Whether you know your mother or not, a black woman helped to create you. It is what it is. So for you to say I'm divesting, you can't divest in yourself. You can't. You can go live somewhere else. You can't divest from yourself. You can actually bleach your skin if you want to. Sammy Sosa is as white as this damn table now.
What happened to him?
He bleached his skin. You know, the bottom line of it is, and I need y'all to understand me, you cannot outrun yourself. You cannot run from who you are. So if you're saying you're divesting from the black community, you are on a fool's errand. It will only lead to further hurt and discontent and disconnection in our communities. And yeah, I believe that is enhancing and enabling further the institution of systemic racism in this country. Last thing I'm going to give you is from Auntie Tony, I apologize, Toni Morrison. In an interview, the interviewer asked her, when will you ever make stories about white people? And to paraphrase, she was like, you really don't know how racist what you just said is, do you? I'm paraphrasing, but she said it much more eloquently than I did. You cannot begin to fathom how racist what you just said to me is, can you? The fact that in order for me to be considered legitimate or successful, I have to write about white people? Have you done bumped your mind? She didn't say that last part, right. But I'm paraphrasing. The way she put it back in her lap was just that way. Another thing that she said is, if white people or the dominant society, if they were so dominant and so superior, why do you have to put things in place to hold other people down? Why? If you are so superior, why do you have to disenfranchise others? What are you scared of? This is my own stuff, why did J. Edgar Hoover put stuff in place to prevent the rise of a black messiah?
Right.
That's how he coined the phrase.
Yes.
He wanted to prevent the rise of a black messiah.
Yes.
If that's the truth, if that's how you feel, I mean, you're just basically telling on yourself. You basically admitted that you're scared. Mm-hmm. I saw something recently that said that J. Edgar Hoover was black, that his family was a black family. He was a very fair-skinned black man. I'm doing more research on it. I was blown away. J. Edgar Hoover. I found this out like maybe a month ago. There was a story that I read. We'll talk about it next week. Well, we'll talk about it when you come back.
Please.
It was report that J. Edgar Hoover's family was a black family.
Wow.
And, black people are in his family lineage, like his grandfather was black or something like that.
Okay.
And he was just a very, very fair-skinned black man. I don't know if it's completely true. I haven't, done any testing on it. I read the story and I was like, wow. We gotta talk about that. But the bottom line of it is, if you all that, you can just be all that on your own. You ain't got to talk about anybody. You ain't got to step on anybody. You ain't got to do anything if you are truly all that and you are confident in it. I don't think they're as confident as they say they are. Mm-mm. I think they front end. They capping.
Absolutely.
I used it the right way. Listen, we do this every Saturday right here on Status Network from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. The phone number for the show is 470-251-4647. I'm going to need you to follow us on all of our social media outlets. Instagram is manifesttv.status. Facebook is Status Network LLC. Periscope is status_network_. Twitter is status_network_. We are on the Amazon Fire Stick and Roku as Status Network and Manifest TV. And on YouTube, we are Manifest TV. Now, Renee, how can people find you on social media?
Pretty Eyes.
How do you spell that?
P-R-E-T, 3 eyes and a Z.
She got 17 eyes in her IG. Listen, I am Talk with Jeffery on all social media except for Snapchat. I'm still not snapping. I'm still not chatting. I'm still too old for that. JoJo did a fine job today on the producer. Yannette Keith, I ain't seen hide nor hair from you and I don't know how long. We breaking up. Jack Trey pays all the bills. This has been a whole lot of fun. We're looking forward to doing it again next week. Now, Renee, you going to be going for the next 2 weeks? Is that right?
Yes.
Bring me something back. I need a souvenir or something.
I got you.
All right. Been a whole lot of fun, but we are out.
And there you have it. Thanks for joining us on Let's Talk About It Live with Jeffery and Renee. Watching is the best decision you'll ever make. And make sure you join us next Saturday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. only on www.statusnetwork.net.